there are good films coming out this year, so it's good. So how many films have you got? I think, did I say pick 10? Or did I just say good? Because I have 10. And I even went through and wrote the months that they're coming out. I didn't write the dates because sometimes they come out different dates in America to here, but I have written the month on mine.
I have 18.
Okay.
But I've split them. So just because I remembered one film, so I've got 11 in my ones to look forward to and 7 of the ones that might be okay.
Okay. Well, let's do that. Let's do your might be okay list. So what have you got that might be okay?
So the way of my brain will work is I attach myself more to the smaller films, but the smaller films don't even have a release date or have been announced. I sort of like look more forward to the films, the unknown. That's what I love about cinema. So a lot of the films are mainly some of the ones that we do know, the bigger films. Mm-hmm. So throwaway ones include Anaconda, just because I'm intrigued on how bad they're going to make that film. It's out in America on Christmas Day, on the 25th. It's out here on the 26th of December. So of all kind of films to watch on Boxing Day, we can go and see Jack Black and Paul Rudd chasing around a giant snake.
Wow.
Which is interesting casting. You've got Mortal Kombat 2. So the reboot I thought was fine. It was watchable as a video game movie. So you've got the sequel, the Philippou brothers, which I will be announced, getting back to them a little bit later on. They were supposed to have directed Mortal Kombat 2. However, they had another film in mind. And so a different director is doing Mortal Kombat 2. So that's out on October the 24th. Again, subject to change for the dates. Conjuring, Last Rites, the final Conjuring film. That's out on September 5th.
I hope it's better than the last one. I bailed out the last one. I'm like, oh, no.
The Devil Made Me Do It. Yep. I hate that title. You've got the new Jurassic World film, Jurassic World Rebirth. The only reason why I've popped it on my list is because the trailer looked okay, but it's because of the director, Gareth Edwards. He's directing it, and I like Gareth Edwards as a director. So that the one which the biggest pendulum / question mark that's hanging above its head for me is the How to Train Your Dragon live action one, because I absolutely love the animated trilogy. So I don't know how they're going to handle the live action one. Again, the trailer, it looks like a beat for beat remake of the first animated film.
Yeah.
So that's out on June 13th. You've got Ballerina, which is the spin-off John Wick film. Mm-hmm. That's out on June 6th. And the new Mission Impossible film, Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, on May 23rd. Again, the only reason why it's in that list is because I didn't like the last 2 Mission Impossible films.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Dead Reckoning Part 1 I thought was actually best, sort of like a best bits kind of montage movie. Yeah. So I didn't think the quality of it was very good. So, and unfortunately, the box office takings proved that. So that's why they decided to bring in this one to The Final Reckoning. But you can't rule out a Tom Cruise action film to be bad. No. Even though, again, Top Gun Maverick I thought was hugely overrated.
So underrated, that movie. It's not underrated because people loved it, and I love it even more. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's a 3-star film, Top Gun Maverick.
For me, it's a 6 out of 5. Goes the extra mark.
You can tell that you didn't go to school. But, you can't rule out Cruise when it comes to that. So it'll be interesting. So they're a few the sort of lists.
I will give your voice a little bit of a rest, and I will do my top 10 films. They're not in any order. I just wrote them down last night. Although the first one comes out next week, I think, and it's a Netflix film. So Havoc, Tom Hardy and Gareth Evans. I always get Evans and Edwards mixed up. It's the guy that did The Raid. I think that's Gareth Evans. Don't really know what it's about too much. It's the guy who did The Raid. Tom Hardy's fine. I'm just hoping there's lots of broken legs and fancy set pieces and all that sort of stuff. But some of Gangs of London, I've been like, so who knows? It could be hit and miss. But I'm looking forward to that one. The next one, these are not in any specific order. F1, which comes out in June. The Joe Kosinski director of Top Gun Maverick, woohoo, and Oblivion, and Only the Brave, I believe. I do like Kaczynski. I love the way, because I mean, you said you weren't a huge fan of Top Gun Maverick, but the way the flight stuff was filmed, very impressive. Looks to be similar to what they've done with F1, where they've strapped cameras to Formula One cars and Brad Pitt's actually driving them and all that sort of stuff. I'm definitely going to make sure I go to the cinema and watch that one. So I'm going to check that out. September, we get the first of 2 Stephen King ones that I'm looking forward to this year. This is The Long Walk, where I think it's Francis Lawrence, I believe this one is, where it's a bunch of teenagers that enter this reality show competition quiz thing where you've got to walk, and then the winner gets a prize. If you lag behind or stop, you get a bullet in the head. I do love Stephen King stuff. Another King one, technically Richard Bachman, is it's not really a remake. It's another adaptation of the book, The Running Man, which comes out in November. Glenn Powell. A lot of people are whinging, oh, another remake. It ain't a remake of the Schwarzenegger movie. The Schwarzenegger movie is nothing like the book that Bachman/Stephen King wrote. So I'm looking forward to seeing a more faithful adaptation. This is Edgar Wright, if I remember rightly enough. Lilo and Stitch comes out in May. I just think it looks fun. I just think it looks fun. I think Stitch looks great. I don't. Do you not really? Oh. No. Oh, no. Are you going to go and watch it, though? Or are you just going to wait?
Probably. I'm saying no, but yes, I will.
You probably will.
I'll end up watching it, but no, it looks not very good.
July, we get James Gunn's Superman, a film which I'm sure the internet will try and tear to pieces because that's what it does to things. They can't just move on and go, I didn't like it. I think the trailer looks fine. I saw the extended look, which we got more Crypto and Superdog in that. I think the dog will be the Grogu, the baby Yoda of Superman. I think people are going to love the dog, maybe a little bit more than, Kal-El himself, but I'll check it out. October, we get Tron Ares, which you'd mentioned before. I was in the cinema to watch the first Tron movie back in '82. Really liked it. Didn't fully understand it as an 11-year-old. I'm like, okay, I don't quite get all of this, but it looks kind of visually cool. I do like Tron Legacy. It is in my top 200 films of all time, mainly because of the Daft Punk soundtrack, which I think elevates the film above where it would if it had like any other score. I like the fact that Nine Inch Nails, who I'm not a massive fan of, but I like Atticus and whatnot, the music in the trailer sounds like it will elevate the film up above another level as well, to where it would be. June, we get 28 Years Later, finally. Looking forward to that. The first of a hopeful trilogy. We're definitely getting another film after this one, but apparently they haven't even financed the third movie yet, so I guess it depends how much this one makes and how much the second one makes. I like that world. I'm sure lots of people will be going, zombie movie, but not a zombie movie, a rage virus movie. So that whole thing will stir up again. My number 9th is one you've mentioned, Ballerina. I love the world of John Wick. I'm a little bit sad that it's only a 90-minute film, though, with Ballerina. Normally, I do like 90-minute films, but I want to spend as much time as possible in the world of John Wick. And then from what I've seen with various trailers of Ballerina, there looks to be more than 90 minutes worth of stuff in there. It looks like it's a bigger story, so I'll be curious to see how that comes about. And then my final one, which you've sort of mentioned as well, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning comes out next month. I'm all there for Cruise. I will see him at the movies. I love what he does. I did like Dead Reckoning Part 1, but I get what you said. It looked like it was just the best of previous stuff. I think the one mistake that they made with Dead Reckoning was just showing too many behind the scenes things of, hey, look at the stunt he does. So when you watch the film, you're like, oh, that's not the beginning stunt. That was like the near enough at the end of the movie stunt. And you sort of, okay, you've shown me too much. They haven't done that much in this one so far, but we've still got like a month to go. So I'm hoping we don't get overkill on the, hey, look what Tom's doing. Let me see it on the big screen and then watch him doing it in real life. I'm good for that. So that's my films. Warfare was going to be my 11th one, but like I said, I'd only discovered that last week, so I thought it doesn't really bode well being on my most anticipated films of the year when I only knew about it 7 days ago. So there's a whole bunch. I'd forgotten about Jurassic Park, so that would probably go on there as well. I do like,
and I'm probably going to mention some that you'll have forgotten about as well. So, because I've got more.
My list may get bigger. So what have you got?
So you've already mentioned 28 Years Later. Huge fan of the last two, 28 films, 28 years and 28 weeks. That opening of 28 Weeks Later will still be etched in my brain as one of the best openings in a film ever.
Yep.
Because that score, oh my God, that score is just phenomenal.
Goose tingles just thinking about that. Yeah, all the shots of them running down the hill. You're like, oh my God. Yeah,
it's just like the score for Sunshine. It's up there with my favorite scores of all time. That score for Sunshine is unbelievably brilliant as well. So I can't wait for 28 Years Later. You've already mentioned The Running Man, which I'm very, very intrigued by. The Running Man, because of Edgar Wright, because he makes some very good films. And you've already mentioned Tron Ares. So those ones. So I'm leaving the two films I'm looking forward to the most till last. So there is the new Final Destination film that's out on May 14th, Final Destination Bloodlines. I just want a bit of stupid popcorn gore fest. That's all I'm looking for. Tony Todd's final movie appearance as well. So yeah, just give me gore. Just give me some stupid, silly kills. The trailer has alluded to the silly kills, even though it's sort of like alluding to kills we've seen before, like somebody being hit by a truck. But you can always guarantee there is going to be at least one or two very interesting kills. Look at the gymnastic death in one of the. That is just fantastic.
Look
at the and the dentist one, where he's coming out of the dentist and that huge massive pain just absolutely crushes him. So there's some really good deaths. That's all I want. Just give me popcorn death. You've got the new Fantastic Four film, Fantastic Four First Steps. Out of all the superhero films, this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. Yeah. Because I do like the casting. And it does look like it could be an entertaining, fun film. So there is that. That's out on July 25th. The new Predators. There's two Predator films coming out this year. There's an animated one and there's a new live action one. Dan Trachtenberg is back to direct the live action one. That's out on November 7th. I loved Prey. I thought Prey was a really good step in the right direction for the Predator franchise. I'll stick up for Predators 2, even though Predators 2 gets a lot of stick.
Yeah, I like it.
I like Predators 2. Yeah. Eddington, which is the new Ari Aster film. You know that a new Ari Aster film will bring intrigue and weirdness. So Eddington is probably going to fall down on that. Clown in the Cornfield, which is out in a couple of weeks' time, which is just, again, an old school slasher film, which I've got a hankering for a good old school, just brain dead slasher film. And Clown in the Cornfield from the screens in America and stuff like that, I've said it's that popcorn kind of watching Scream again. Okay. Kind of the first Scream. So that's out on May 9th. Alpha, which is the new Julia Ducournau movie. Anything Julia Ducournau touches, I am guaranteed to be there because I love Raw. Raw is a fantastic film, and Titan is a brilliant film as well. And early mutterings for Alpha have said that this is her most personal film. It's about a little girl torn up in war. So, but Julia Ducournau had a full-on human touch to horror. And so I cannot wait for Alpha. But my two most eager films, no surprise, Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's new film, that's out in November. You've got The Bride as well, which is Maggie Gyllenhaal's film, which early mutterings have said it's not very good. It had to go back and have some reshoots and stuff like that from test screenings, but the test screenings did not go down very well. So I've still got hopes for it, but Frankenstein, a Guillermo del Toro film, of course I'm going to be there. He's my favourite director. And then my most eager film from the sort of like biggish films that are out this year is Bring Her Back.
What is that one?
It's the Philippou brothers film. So direct from Talk to Me.
Okay, yeah.
It's their new film. It's got Sally Field in it.
Wow.
And it's about a little girl who dies, and she plays a grieving mother who tries to bring her back. Very similar to Pet Sematary and stuff like that, but more low budget and done with their kind of. Because I thought Talk to Me had some really good tense moments in it, and the trailer for Bring Her Back looks so creepy and so eerie that I cannot wait for it. That's out on May 29th.
I will check that trailer out when I go downstairs because I do like the cast. So
that's my most eager one this year. Bring Her Back.
There's a whole bunch there, isn't there? It's like it felt like certainly since January to now. It's like, is there anything coming out? And you look at the box office top 10, and it's pretty poor worldwide. The Chinese film is still leaps and bounds above anything else, and obviously, I think Snow White's like number 3 or number 4 or something. And that's only 180 million. Say only. I wish I had that. And obviously Minecraft and Captain America and stuff. You're like,
Minecraft will be number 2 now. Probably because that Ninja 2, it made billions in China.
Yeah, so, it's like 1.8 billion or something. So it's like, I mean, the only one that is possibly going to take that out would be Avatar at the end of the year. But who knows? I know it's not to appear on either of our lists.
Now, this is where I add a caveat to Fire and Ice or Fire and Water, whatever the subtitle is called. It's Fire and something.
I think it's Fire and Ice, isn't it? It's Fire
with the new Avatar film.
Yeah.
It would, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be the biggest film of this year. It would have been if this stupid tariff thing didn't happen. The stupid, the absolutely stupid President Trump, because China have turned around and said, okay, then if that's the case, we're not going to allow your big American films to launch in China. Now, if something like Ninja 2 can make $1.5 billion in one territory alone, China is, outside of America, the biggest area for movies. And when a blockbuster hits, it hits bigger in China than it does in America. Mm-hmm. It will actually make more money. So they're going to look at Avatar from a big, huge, massive American studio, despite the fact that it's shot in New Zealand and Australia.
By a Canadian director. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they are going to look at that film and being a big, huge, massive American film. Yeah. So if China do follow through with not allowing big films to launch in China, that film, yes, it will crack the billion, but it won't get us anywhere near as the last 2 Avatar films.
No. I mean, a lot can happen between now and December. As we know, a lot can happen in 2 weeks in politics, certainly in the US. But yeah, if I was James Cameron, I'd be like, look, I'm from Canada. Yay. But Disney are in America. Yeah, but I've shot it in New Zealand or Australia or whatever.
Still doesn't help.
Please. They'd be like, nope. Like, damn it. I'm out of loopholes. Yeah. It's pretty much the only 2 loopholes you can cough up with.
So I think this is going to be a testing year for big American films when it comes to the box office, the worldwide box office. It might do brilliant in America, which the Fantastic Four will, and some of the bigger superhero films will, etc. So they will do. But if China does that lockdown on these big American films, then the worldwide box office is going to be nowhere near the amount that studios expect. So with Avatar, it's got a question mark beside it for me.
I think your Mission Impossible will suffer with the China blockade. I think Jurassic Park, probably the biggest ones. Lilo and Stitch, probably. Yeah. I don't think the Running Man's going to sort of struggle too much. I don't think there's a huge demand for that in China, but certainly with Avatar, there's a reason they have an Avatar land over in that part of the world. It's because they love it. So, but I haven't even seen the second one yet. I started and I'm like, I don't want to watch.
Really did not like that. I thought the second one was worse than the first.
Yeah, first one I think's okay. I get it as a tech demo. Avatar looks great. Now it looks a bit like a bit ropey. But the second one, I haven't managed to get through. I'll push through at some point. I only just got around to watching 2001: A Space Odyssey this month for the first time in my entire life. So Avatar 2 can wait for a little bit, I think.
About another 30, 40 years, probably.
Probably I will just watch it on some sort of hologram in the old folks' home.
Yeah, they'll just go to you. You like your films, don't you? There is an interesting film from a bygone era just on pushing you in, and there's Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
And spent about 3.5 hours watching sea whales or whatever it is. I don't know.
It's the Avatar channel. Avatar 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he is making 5, and that's going to be out a couple of years later.
Yeah, I kind of miss getting a new James Cameron film. I know he didn't make like loads of films often. You know, he wasn't spitting them out like Ridley Scott. Ridley was like 2 a year, wasn't he? At one point, probably still is. And but James Cameron just took his time making movies, but he's now taking his time making movies, and they're always Avatar movies.